Welcome back. We have another great episode of Stuck in the Middle for you guys. We are so pleased to have our friend back with us, Mr. Zack Williams.
Right?
Right? Did I say that right?
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
sound right. Okay.
She called you Mr.
Mr. Zack Williams,
Williams.
yes. And
Yes.
we've
Oh
had
my God.
so much positive feedback since we
Yes.
had Zack on our Stuck in the Middle where,
We ain't young, but we ain't dead yet.
that's right.
Right, Zach?
Absolutely.
So we thought we would bring Zack back because we've had a lot of feedback, a lot of questions since he was with us a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And we even have a couple of questions because we were speaking with him after we filmed and a couple of things came up that we wanted just to address and bring back to our podcast. So I just made a joke and said, I don't know what's worse, him being behind bars or sitting between us after dinner tonight. And no telling, I'm probably still wearing my dinner,
Yes.
but nonetheless. So welcome back. We're so
Exactly.
glad to have you with
Thank you,
us.
no problem.
Thank you for coming back. Because, yeah, we did. Last week after we filmed, or 2 weeks ago, we talked for probably another hour here
Yes.
because there was so much more we wanted to talk about. And that's why we have Zach back, because we feel like all of you want to hear it too.
That's
So
right.
That's where we're at with that.
So, my big question that we talked about is in the shoe, which in your terms means basically solitary confinement, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And you were telling us you were literally in the shoe for 18 solid months,
Yes. 18
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, tell us, first of all, what you did to get you put in the shoe.
gosh.
Come on, let's
And
hear
then
it.
I want to hear all about what it was like in that place for 18 solid months.
Well, the reason I was in the shoe is because me had dealings with a female officer. And so they put me on investigation. Investigation causes me to be in the shoe for 18 months.
Okay.
So, wait a minute. So,
Don't forget to talk really
I
loud.
know, I'm going in there. Okay, so when you say you were just having, like, it was more than a friendship, and so you two had to be separated, so
Yes.
they put you in this shoe. Did they move her to another prison? Tell me.
No, they
That
didn't move
part.
her. They actually removed me and put me in the shoe for 18 months under investigation because I
Okay.
wouldn't cooperate and say that we had any involvement.
Okay.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
by me not cooperating with them, they stopped me in the shoe for 18 months.
Because you just said, I'm not, or whatever.
Yes, I don't know what they're talking about. But I did 18 months in the shoe for that.
Okay, I have a question. Did you ever see this lady after you got out of the shoe? Again?
Yes.
Did you learn your lesson?
Well, it does sound like it. I was just going to say, it does sound like you learned your lesson.
Not really. It's just, you know how to move different.
Okay.
So, you know how to move different.
All right. Okay. So that's what happened to get you there.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us what it was like when you were in there.
Well, when I was in there, 18 months by yourself is a lot. A lot of people don't like to be by themselves in a little room like that. I didn't have no celling, take showers like 3 times a week. And only thing you can find in there is, well, only thing they can give you in the shoe is the Bible. So
That's it. Nothing else. So
Nothing
you're literally in a small square room with a cot or a bed
Yes.
and I guess a toilet. I don't know, right?
Yes.
Like not even a mirror or anything?
It's a mirror, but it's not a mirror.
Okay.
You see a glimpse of yourself.
And
So-
literally like 4 walls around you with a little square window at your door.
At the outside of the shoe. So being in the shoe is like you got one inside of the building that's in the door. You can see the pod, basically where everybody's at.
So you can kind of see what's going on around
Yes.
you. You can see not just right there in front of your little window, but you can kind of see.
Yes, you gotta look out and do stuff like that. Yes.
Okay.
And then you had a window like behind, like a square window where you could see the outside world.
So at least you could see outside like the trees or
Yes.
maybe a parking lot. I don't
Yes.
know what your view
Yes,
was.
my view is like basically like you see civilians walking back and forth to work. So
So what would you do? Just sit there and stare and like daydream?
I'll sit, most of the time I read. You got to find routines. Like most of the time I try to sleep in the day and up all night. So you gotta have yourself. You gotta find a routine so that way you can channel your thoughts.
Because I was going to ask you if you knew the difference between day and night, but I guess
Yes,
you
from the
did
window.
because of the window
Mhm.
outside.
Exactly.
And then you knew your meals, I guess, breakfast, lunch,
Yes.
dinner.
You get 3 meals a day. And
So-
then you get shower every other day, 3 times a week.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess you would have conversation then when they brought your meals to you, or
No.
was it nothing?
No, you have to find time to find self, which is a good thing. You meditate and you learn things. That's like one of the hardest things doing is probably being by yourself.
I
A lot of
honestly
people can't do that.
cannot imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, think about it right now. Like, I have a friend whose daughter is on complete bed rest because of a pregnancy. And now, granted, she's at home in her bed, but she can read, watch TV. But even at that, I would be climbing out of my skin. I know what it was like just for like a week staying at my house and not really getting up and doing much. And I could, but I didn't. How you can drive yourself crazy.
So what would
Exactly. A lot of
you
people do.
exercise? I'm
Yes,
assuming.
I have
in
you get a
there?
routine. I work out, I read again, I read the Bible again, and then you hope and pray that you get mail. That's your biggest day. Your biggest time of the day is receiving mail.
So they would let you get letters.
Yes, you'll hear when they come in, like mail call, and so everybody run to the door.
Oh.
Oh,
And
God,
you wait
that could
until
be
mail.
heartbreaking.
It
to go all
is.
at the
It's
same
challenging.
time.
It can make you either hate people or make you learn and understand people. They didn't put me there. I put myself there, first of all, so I could not
That's true.
blame nobody else. My mom brought me up good. My dad did the best he could. At the end of the day, I couldn't blame nobody but myself. I couldn't blame my brother, nobody else but myself. So I took accountability for myself and I learned me. So that's why a lot of things now I try to focus on me. A lot of times I like to be by myself. When I was in prison, I used to get in trouble. I get my mind go to running. A lot of times I was like, okay, let me do something to go to shoot, so I can find something.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
So you actually,
You like your downtime.
Yes. Like right now, I like my downtime.
Yeah.
yeah, there's something great about quiet time and meditation. I just couldn't do it for 18 months straight. I don't think.
To me, what did you learn about yourself in that time that you didn't know that you had inside of you? Like what was different?
What was different is your strength. You don't really know the strength you have until you put in that position. Like a lot of people give up. I know people had sellers that actually hung themselves, stuff like that. But for me, I just seen a different purpose. It could have been worse.
And thank God.
Exactly. So it could have been worse. So I looked at it like that every day. And so in doing those things, like now, trying to adapt to the outside world, I can't run to the shoe no more. You see? Back then I could run to the shoe and be by myself and close myself in.
And you
Now I
felt
can't.
kind of safe and comfortable in a weird sort of way.
Because you find yourself and then you got to redo it all over again. Because sometimes you can get drawn away and back into the everyday prison system. Every day, hustling, doing all these things. But it's always a reality check when you go back to the shoe by yourself. You ain't got nobody to talk to, nobody but to read your Bible.
And I know we talked about this, about reading the Bible, and we asked you what was your favorite book in the Bible. And you said Psalms, yeah.
And
like
I
that
can
was your...
see that because it's inspiring.
My grandma, when I first got incarcerated, my grandma just passed. When I first got locked up, she always like, don't come crying to me with all this other stuff. Here, read this Psalm. So she gave me Psalms 91, Psalms 50. I remember all the Psalms. And so those, she says, read them on a daily basis, every day. And I read Psalms 91 as of right now today, as I'm out. And it's just, some things stick with you, And it's like, you do the time, don't let the time do you, basically.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. You have to find you.
Wow.
Well, you are mentally strong. I will
try to
say
be.
that. You are. No,
Yeah.
you are to go through
I
that.
truly cannot, I cannot wrap my head around that. The year and a half of being completely alone.
Alone, yes.
Wow. Did that CO lady try to sneak you a letter while you were in there? You might not want to answer
Right,
these
no,
questions because
tell
you're
us.
probably scared to tell.
Tell
You're like,
us.
I don't want them coming back to my house and getting me and
Uh-huh.
putting me back in there.
Did she?
No, she comes back there, but sometimes you're like, hey, listen, you got to know what to do. And not only that, she had kids.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get blinded, and then all you have is time. So you read and you watch this person. I don't care who it is. As a man, I don't think no women should work actually in the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Because you get to know them more than they outside husband or anybody else, because you deal with them 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that happens a lot.
Yes.
A lot.
It happened
Absolutely.
to a family member of mine and also somebody that we know from here in Clewiston.
yes.
That happened to and became involved with prisoners, and in both accounts, it did not turn out well.
They won't.
Well, I know there was even one of those shows I watch on TV where literally like the little grandmotherly lady that actually she volunteered like for something, I'm making this up, art classes. I don't know, at the prison, supposedly happily married, la la la. Anyway, she ended up getting into a relationship and broke the guy out of prison.
Yes, that was in Kansas too, through the dog pen. Yes.
Okay, do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
What-
And they
what's
went on the
dog
run.
pen?
It was like, she brought in dogs and like
Yes, it
some
was that
inmates
one.
get to play with dogs, and he
That-
snuck back in the.
Yes, it was
Yes.
that story.
It was in Leavenworth, Kansas.
Really?
Did you know the guy?
No, he was in the state prison.
Okay,
I was in the
but
federal.
anyway, and I mean, it ended like they went on a high speed chase, and I
Nice.
mean, like she,
Oh,
and
gosh.
literally they interviewed her, and she's like, I had a connection with this guy,
happens. It happens.
and blah blah blah. I can't remember how it ended. Did he end up
Yeah.
dying?
No, he ended up getting locked up. She got locked up for a little minute, and they put him in a prison where he can't escape. And they
Okay.
put It's like Florence, Colorado, or something like that.
That's right. Okay,
Wow.
all right.
It's hard.
Okay, that was one thing we wanted just to
Yes.
talk about that. So, just one last follow up question to that component of the shoe. Like the first day after your 18 months, you go back into general population.
Yes.
What was that? Was that hard? Was it like reacclimating all over again? Were your same members of your car out there waiting on
No,
you?
I was in the actually I haven't got to the prison yet.
You were still in the
I
whole.
was in like considered as
So you-
City County.
Oh.
So it was before you really got deep into
Yes.
it, and you didn't know better.
Yes. I
Right.
did 36 months.
You didn't know better.
She has
you,
that finger
You
pointed
still
at
thought
you.
you were going to work that system in the beginning.
I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
The system worked you.
But I had we did 36 months in there waiting trial.
That's right. You said
That's
that
right.
earlier. So this was during that time
During that time,
frame.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
so
thought
it's
it was
considered
when
accounting.
you were in prison. Okay.
It's considered
Gotcha.
accounting, yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Gotcha. While you were awaiting trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to talk about that because, and Julie, I'm not trying to dominate if if there's any
go ahead.
questions.
I'll
But
break in.
But I know that we talked too that you were saying that, years later, I know you got out earlier because of a law that
Yes.
changed, and so you did get released early.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you were saying that the judge, the prosecutor, and the investigators,
The detectives, yes.
the detectives,
Yes.
literally all ended up getting fired
All of them.
after the fact because of your case, other cases, everything
And
combined.
disbarred also.
Yes.
What happened? Tell
so
what
tell
happened.
us all of that.
Like setting up evidence and being dirty cops, basically. Yes, and that's what happened in our case. Our case was small. It wasn't even actually supposed to be a federal case. We didn't have enough drugs, just to say we didn't have enough drugs. But somehow the detective knew the prosecutor, and she was a federal prosecutor. So it was all because of surrounding my brother. They didn't really like my brother. So we all they tied us in a conspiracy. It was 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of us went on a conspiracy, and they add the drugs up. Usually you have to get caught with 5 grams or more individually.
Mm-hmm.
But they pieced together over 5 grams as an organization. So our organization was called the Blues Crew.
You
Everybody
said that.
knew my
Yeah.
brother's name. His name is Blue. So this government made us as like an organization to be able to tie us in on the conspiracy. And so once the conspiracy caused, and it's like, it's open, it's free for all. We went back, everybody knew we was going to trial.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that process, you got guys like, oh, they going to trial. The Florida boys going to trial. And so what they do now, they make up cases on us. Even though we never met these guys, never met them, never had a conversation with them, no physical evidence. But they go to the prosecutor with these made up stories, and they say, oh, I bought this drugs from this guy. I bought this drug from the Florida crew within this time. So what they do is they add it up. Whatever they saying with no dope, that's why I call it ghost dope, ghost drugs, which is mean you get incarcerated by hearsay.
But they have no evidence
Yes.
to support that.
Absolutely. That's why I call it ghost dope.
That is
The federal, you can't do it in the state. You have to have actual evidence to convict someone.
That's so
that
confusing
is
to me
so
because,
confusing.
I mean, then that just means people can make up anything about anybody, and as
Absolutely.
long as they, and you did have a jury trial, right?
Yes, we had a jury trial at first, and then we had a mistrial because they didn't have enough evidence to find us guilty in the first trial.
Okay.
So instead of them letting us go and throwing our case away, all they did was send us back to the unit and restart it over.
Why do you think they did that? To
Because
get after your brother?
yes, and then they already spent a lot of money. So they spent a lot of money to go and find juries. They felt like we wasted their time.
But it could have ended in a mistrial again, which would have been more money wasted.
Yes, it's actually almost did, but it's just the wait out. It's a waiting game.
That is unbelievable
It's a
to
waiting
me.
game with no evidence. And here it is, we on trial getting charged for a key and a half of crack cocaine, when actually we only had a total of 5 grams of crack that my brother sold here and there, and other people, but it was only 5 grams. We're really like kind of 9 grams, but we got found guilty for a key and a half of crack that we didn't even never seen. They never presented in trial.
Wow.
Any of those things. So
Wow.
that's what ended up getting us kind of like messed up because the ghost dope.
Wow.
And you can still do that. That is still something to this day.
It's going on to the day right now as we speak.
That
Yes.
is crazy.
Yes.
For as much money as it costs each state, the government, whomever, to incarcerate somebody, they have it broke down to how much each prisoner costs. To have the prison system full, I can't understand why they would do something like that, or that would be something like that to even crowd the prison system more.
It's money.
It's just a business.
Yes, it's money.
It's a business.
And most of the product that's being sold in the prison system, as far as the Keefe product, is all Bush. It's all from Bush. So
From President Bush.
Yes, President Bush owned all the Keefes.
What's Keefe's?
What's
Keefe is a type of brand, like coffee, rice. It's a prison system brand.
Oh.
Like you got Folgers out here.
Yeah.
You have Keefe Columbia coffee in there.
So they
So,
own
yes.
those products?
Absolutely.
Holy
So all the products we get in
crap.
is from the Bush organization. So it's all a money thing. Yes.
Wow.
That's a whole nother situation.
That is a whole other topic and conversation because
Yes,
I'm
people
blown
don't know.
away.
Yes, absolutely.
So it was very profitable,
Yes, that's what it was.
in other words.
So
That's crazy.
let's go back to the prosecutor and the judge, right? The judge, the prosecutor, and the detectives.
Yes.
So how did it finally come out that they were dirty, or that
And
they?
how did that process?
Well, in our case, they seen it, but after that, they actually started really like they start breaking in people's houses, like kicking them in, said they trying to come raid us. Basically, raid us is like come lock us up for illegal activities. And some people was putting spy cameras in their house that they didn't know about. So what they was doing, they was going to the house and taking all like the drug dealers, whatever, they stuff, like they watches and everything else, including the prosecutor. So all that became evidence. And like with us in our case, now that we're out and we can go and try to go back and file a lawsuit, but you don't want to open a can of worms.
No. You're like, I'm good.
It's
No,
the government.
I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
free, and whatever happened,
Right.
God
Totally
gave me the strength
agree.
to get through it. So
Absolutely.
I don't trip on it, but did they do things wrong? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But ultimately, it cost them their livelihood. It
Yes.
cost them their career, which it cost you a lot of
Mm-hmm.
your years of growing up. And like you said, last time that you don't regret
Not
the
at all.
things that happened.
Mhm.
It made you the man who you are to this day.
Absolutely.
However, they are paying a price, and their families are paying a
Yes.
price, and not,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yes,
is what
absolutely.
it is. Yes.
I know you were going to ask something, Julie. I can't
I
remember.
don't know. I got off track.
From
Because I'm
earlier.
off on the Keefies thing.
Yes.
I'm still
Yes, look it
stuck
up.
on that.
Yes.
That has blown my mind right there.
So
Absolutely.
it's the products that the prison, not just coffee.
It's different products for us, like Keefe products. That's
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 the
the name brand.
That's the
That's the
brand.
Kind of like McKesson does products for nursing homes or
Yes,
hospitals
exactly.
or whatever.
Mhm.
Like that's the parent company of the
yes.
products.
The product actually is from the Bush organization. So this is all a money to get money. Absolutely, that's what it is.
Because it's all about money.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't care how they fill the beds up. The beds is going to be filled.
Well, I'm sure they're overflowing right now. I mean,
Of
I would
course
think,
they
my
are.
gosh. Like,
Well, in the last couple of years, they cut, like, I think they cut funds, which was Trump. A lot of the private-owned facilities, like I was in the CCA. That's in like 06 when they was building all these CCAs. They had,
What's CCA?
it's like
privatized.
privatized correctional facilities.
Yeah. Like,
Yes.
kind of like
Like
GCI or,
Yes.
or like,
GEO or whatever
Yes.
that
Yes.
is.
But
that,
this was for the federal.
yes.
And not
Gotcha.
the state. So when they come, the actual marshals come, like everybody just get quiet, all the guards, because the marshals is over everything.
Correct.
So when they came to the building, like everybody's on pins and needles.
Now, do we have any federal prisons in South Florida?
Yes, we have Coleman facility. It's a big facility. They got Coleman Low, Coleman Pen 1, Pen 2. You got the medium, and I think you have a women's camp.
Where are they located?
And located in Orlando, Coleman, Florida. It's like right outside Orlando, like 30 minutes.
So that would be the closest we think, or Miami, does it have federal?
Yes, Miami have like a federal. They don't really have a federal prison. They have a federal low, and they have a camp. That's where I did my last 4 years at the camp. And then they have a holding facility over there.
In Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they have it over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything around us is state.
Yes.
But it's a lot of it might be that privatized, that like you're
Mhm.
saying, like the one
It
in
is.
Moorhaven,
And
South Bay.
South Bay. Those are all private now,
Yes.
I think,
But
right?
they for state, federal.
Okay.
You only have a couple of holdovers for federal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For federal prison.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's
And-
just,
Most of the transit is in Oklahoma, so you have to fly, get on this raggedy plane, tape hanging off.
Mm.
well,
That's why I don't care where I'm flying now. I'm free. I don't care. If it would have crashed when I was on it, it would have crashed then. But no.
yeah, it was
It's good.
held together by
Yes.
Band-Aids or
Exactly.
black electrical tape or whatever.
Or it might have been that, what do you
which
call
I
it?
have seen on a plane before, by the way, about
Yes.
flip me out.
Okay, well, can I just say sidebar?
Yeah.
We went on a trip this weekend and just yesterday, we were flying home. We changed planes in Atlanta.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we look out, like we're waiting on the plane and it's there. And we literally see the pilot. He's sitting on the plane. I kid you not, he reaches his arm out the front windshield and is wiping it like we do our car window.
Wow, sir.
And I'm like, does it really make a difference how clear the window? I mean, I'm just saying, don't
Yeah.
computers like run this thing?
Yeah,
Like,
I
I mean, I'm not kidding. He had a rag and he was wiping his windshield for the jet.
I'd have been praying.
I was like,
I'd have
okay.
been praying
I was
the
like, okay,
whole
well,
time.
just shut the window really good. There's something about pressurization or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Sidebar, but that just happened yesterday. Yeah,
Yes.
it did. It did.
Yes.
But anyway, what would you say your biggest advice would be to the younger generation that was pretend they're your age at the time when you got in trouble, fake trouble, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
What advice would you give to them just being every day?
Like
living?
going into the system?
No,
or just
no,
being
just
out
before you
here?
hopefully don't go in the system. What advice would you give a young person today?
What do you tell them out there on that football field?
Make the right decisions. All it takes is one mistake.
Mm-hmm.
One mistake. It don't matter if you're guilty. It don't matter if you're around around the wrong people or the right people. One mistake, that's the rest of your life.
It is.
the rest of your life, and it's hard to get out of that place. You can get in there easy. It's hard to get out.
And to
Hard
stay
get
out.
Yes, and to stay out. That's the
to
thing
stay
about it is everybody goes inside of there thinking, oh, I'm finna be released. Sometimes you don't get released. Sometimes you get caught up with drugs. You get caught up with homosexuality. You get caught up with the prison system just to survive.
All right, you just sparred another little moment for me. I just remembered you were telling me about, you know, taking care of yourself and not getting stabbed. And you go, well, I was stabbed. Okay,
Yes,
so what in the
so
world happened with that?
What did you do? What happened? And
Well,
tell
it's
us.
kind of like I was in Minnesota, Sandstone, Minnesota. So when I leave from outside of Florida, we goes up there, and it's kind of like we have a Florida car, basically.
You talked about that, the Florida car.
Georgia, Alabama. So up there is like 5 guys from Florida, 5 guys from Alabama. So we got to all come together and become a car. And when you go to those places like that, it's a lot of gangs. You got GDs, BDs, you got all these different type of gangs.
Tell us what that is. What is GD's?
GD is Gangster Disciple. Then you got BDs, black something they call them.
Black Disciple.
Black Disciple, something like that. And then you got Bloods, you got Crips, you got Aladdin Kings.
What were you? Just Zack?
Nah, I'm me. I'm always me.
You just Zack.
I'm my own people.
Okay.
So
You're Florida car.
You're the Florida car.
So I get up there, we go up there, and first of all, it's like a violation for me, but you know, I wasn't tripping. My cellie was a Latin King, which he's supposed to partner with his fellow gang. But he didn't have no room or no bed space. So I'm like, hey, I ain't tripping. You stand here, just don't be disrespectful. And so it was cool for like a year or something.
Until what?
Until he had more of his Latin King come. And so they was like Puerto Ricans mostly out of New York. And so they came in and they started making little comments, you know, the racist comments. So I'll leave it alone. I'm not tripping. But I took care of this kid, you know, for this whole time, make sure he had food, make sure he was, how to be, you know, respectful. And so now he's trying to turn against me. One thing led to another.
He's trying to break bad because he has his buddies after
Yes.
y'all were friends in a way.
Absolutely. Yes. And so one thing led to another, boom, I hit him. And I didn't know I was going to put him to sleep, but it happens. And so I end up just like, once you do that, it's like, now you have to go get with your car because it's going to be bigger than what it is. And all gang members have to stick together. So my little Florida car is probably about a total of 18 of us against this whole compound. But the good thing about it is, like, I'm cool with everybody. And so one of my close friends, I still talk to him today, he's old school. He's like the leader of the crib. And so he came and found out. So a lot of people came out, and it was kind of like
what happened?
what happened?
Provoked
Yes.
this?
So my
What
shot
went
caller
on?
had to go up front, and the Latin King shot caller had to go up front. So they out talking, it's snoring. We got jackets on. We got, you know, protect our.
Now wait, what happened to the roommate? You said you put him to sleep. Surely he didn't die.
No, I knocked him out.
Okay, I'm just making sure you
Yeah,
didn't
no.
kill him. Okay, I just want to make
He
sure.
punched
He
you.
did
He
wake
was
up,
like,
but
Yeah, he woke up.
did he come back to your cell?
No, I already took all this stuff out.
You take it and throw it
I just
out?
throw it out. He got to get out. Because I already know it's going to be bigger than what it was.
But you can't just, I mean, you said that y'all run the prison.
Yes, we
the
do.
guards don't. So, I mean,
The
you
guards
just said you're out and they go out.
So,
And so we had to go out on the yard. It's snowing. So you got all these they side over here, my side over here. And so I have to sit back. I can't say much because I have a shot caller. And the guy that I hit, he's out there. And his big shot caller, they out there. So they's doing all this extra stuff. We ready, they ready. So they going back and forth. And I was getting ready to transfer to Miami. I had like 5 years left. They gave me my time change. And so I'm thinking all this positive stuff. But one bad decision, I could have ended my life. You know, in that process. So I'm like, man, but I was in it. So I had no other choice but to.
You have to see it through. What are you going to do at that point?
And so they was doing back and forth talking. They're like, okay, what's the resolution? The resolution was for me to go up top to get checked in. And then, you know, my shot caller was like, no, he ain't going nowhere. So I'm like, hey, can I say something? They was like, yeah. And so the shot caller was like, I was like, who don't like it? And he was like, I don't like it. So I'm like, well, we grown men. We can go and handle our business. And he was like, oh, because he's a big old guy, whatever. So I'm like, he's like, oh, so what do you want to do? I'm like, come on, let's go. And you know, my shot caller was like, no. I said, man, it's all right. I can take care of me. And so we got in the bathroom. It didn't end like he ended. So he put a knife or whatnot. So I had got cut right here. it got stuck in my arm, but
You
And so
kept
then what
fighting.
happened?
You kept fighting.
yeah, and then something happened. He got stabbed 38 times.
By you?
I don't know. Something happened.
Something happened.
So
That
what?
happened.
It ended up happening, and you had a plane on there, and it ended up getting airlift. But like that was the most scariest time. I can say that my whole prison time because I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't expecting it. It happened. I went in there to like simple, like squashed it, so we won't have a riot, so we won't have a bloodbath. So I went as a man to handle whatever handled. If I would have lost, I would have lost, but I didn't lose, and he just grabbed his knife.
Now, was that the shot caller you were up against that time? Not the guy in
Oh,
your
it
cell?
wasn't the guy.
No, he couldn't do nothing with me. So the shot caller was just like,
So it was you and him.
and then the big shot caller, yes.
So what? So after that, then did you still get your transfer to Miami, or
Thank
what?
God, like I already had my clothes packed, so I'm just waiting on the bus to come so I can leave that facility. And so
Jesus.
a week
You
later,
couldn't just go outside a little bit early? I mean, and just say I'm waiting.
it don't work that way. So it happens, and then for me not to like leave all my friends and like just like okay, shot caller didn't like it, we can handle it. So we end up going through what we're going through and whatnot, and I end up getting stabbed. He ended up getting airlifted, and I prayed, and I just thank God that I got away.
And then what? Do you know what
Okay.
happened to the other people? Your car
I didn't ask my
after
car.
you left? Your car.
No, my
After-
car was great because after that, the guards ended up coming, so they ended up taking me around that way. I had to go to the doc. I meant to the
Infirmary.
yes, to act like I got hurt in the gym, and they had to put staples and stuff in my arm or whatnot. But
Was the knife still in you?
yes, it was stuck in my arm. My arm, actually, my hands were stuck like that.
Okay. And we'll
And
leave
it's,
it
I
at
didn't really know at first because it's a string. Most people will tie a string so they won't lose the knife in battle. You get what I'm saying? So when it stuck me in my arm, I think my muscle like contracted and it wouldn't come out. That what made me notice, and then I put them to me, and then I found my knife. I don't know how, but it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then, so after that, you literally physically left, like that day,
Yes,
the
I
next
know.
day,
I
or,
left a week later, I left.
and
transit
nothing
came.
bad happened that week after.
You hear rumors. You know, you hear rumors and stuff.
You just kept your head down.
Yeah, I
like,
just
like,
prayed and like,
right.
listen, it happened, it happens. And great thing about it is nobody told anything. Nobody told the CEO. So I prayed. I ended up leaving, going to Miami, and
Thank God.
thank God.
And then, so when you went to Miami, you said you were there 5 years,
A little, yeah, about 4.5 years.
4.5 years. After Miami, that's when you went to the halfway house
Yes.
in Fort Myers.
Yes.
And you said you wouldn't have gone that route. Is that
The
correct?
halfway house?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would have stayed in and just finished my time there.
In Miami,
Halfway
instead of
house.
doing the halfway house.
Yes. There's no way you can.
What's the deal with that, the halfway house versus staying in? You get a
Halfway house.
choice?
It's basically you're not incarcerated no more. You get to leave out. Got some type of freedom. You get to go get a job, but they take like 5% or 20% of your money. So you cannot save money, especially if you got kids. So you know they're taking so much money, and it's kind of like what I'm working for. I just should have stayed in and finished my time, and then went home.
How long were you in the halfway house?
Well, I supposed to did 9 months, but I didn't do that much. I got sent back, which was, I think I got sent back twice because I wouldn't pay.
Back to Miami.
No, they sent me to Charlotte County
Oh.
in Fort Myers.
Oh, county jail.
Yes, but you have a federal side and you have a state side.
Okay.
So I basically did my time there
Okay.
for like, I did 20 some days and I came back and did another like 58 and I was done.
And then you got out.
Yes, I got out.
And then getting out, now, I mean, initially, are you on like probation, where you have a probation officer you
Yes.
have to check in with, or how does that work?
Yes, when I first got out, it had like a color code and your name come up. You have to go back to Fort Myers, take a P test and do all those things. Actually, they gave me 17 and a half years, 10-year paper on top. Thank God they cut it in half and now I'm no longer on probation. Thank God. And I
Oh,
recently just got
good.
off. Yes, 5.5 years clear, no mishap or nothing, but it's like, it really is set up for you to fail. you own pins and needles. Regardless of the fact you're free, but you're walking on eggshells.
Of course.
The smallest thing.
Anything, a
Yes.
traffic violation, anything
Anything.
could turn.
Anything, like you're not, well, I don't know, I know normal probation, I don't know about federal or whatever, but you're not allowed like to leave the county without getting permission.
Yes.
And I mean, like literally, if you drove from here to Moorhaven, cause it's a different county,
Yes,
you could be in
I'm not
trouble.
supposed to go to Palm Beach County. I can go anywhere up this way, not that way. I can easily get sent right back. And that's the kind of thing people don't realize when you got a prison. They think it's over. No, it just began. And what I mean by it just began, because now you got to start trusting yourself around certain people, around certain
and
events.
making good decisions.
Yes, and making great decisions. But the thing about it is, me knowing self. I love my family. I'll give my life for my family. So much as I'm out here building a family, it can be gone in the blink of an eye. So it messes with your head, and you're like, man.
I'd be scared to leave my house.
Yes.
I'd be scared
That's
to
why
leave.
I'm afraid of like crowds, and like if I go out, it's kind of like I'm watching everything, because I have to make better decisions, at least for my kids.
Well, and like you say, it's not even so much, it's your decision, but even with what happened to you, so much of it was because of the people that you were even around.
Exactly.
So the decisions they're making. So you have to not only look out for yourself, but you have to literally look out. Like if you walk into, I'm making this up, but a party, and one person there is doing something wrong, you got to get the heck away from it, because it could really, really, really mess you up.
Yes.
Whereas anybody else would be like, well, that's on them. They're doing it, not me.
Yes.
But you
Yes,
can't view
you
life
can't
like that,
do that.
right?
Absolutely. So it's kind of it's like I war against my old self. My old self, like, I don't care, let's go, wherever I catch you at. But now it's kind of like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Again. I know I'm going to leave my kids. I've been there, I've done that before. But the thing about it is, you're going to war with yourself. You're going to deal with it. A lot of people aren't going to understand you. I don't care who it is. If they never walked in your shoes, they can't tell you how to live. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, much as I sit and try to explain to a person, like, listen, I have issues, I have problems, they look at me like, no, you all right, man, you good. Like, no, I'm not. I battle. You don't understand. My battle and your battle is different.
Totally.
You know,
Absolutely.
I've been through things that they haven't been through.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Just because
it's
you
different.
look one way on the outside,
Yeah.
the
Totally
inside
different.
is totally different.
It's totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, and it's just like anybody that is truly a good friend or family, I would hope, I mean, would be like, you know what, listen, I get you. You need to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. I support you in trying to take care of yourself and your family,
Absolutely.
you know, and if I'm doing something wrong, then let me get away from you out of respect for you, because, you know, you're trying to get your life in order and keep it in order. Not get it, it is in order now, but keep it in order, because you are kind of working against the odds.
And it's like a lot of people don't really understand. If it took me 12 years, 3 months to build this type of mindset, like if I don't get a letter or if I call somebody, they don't answer. I used to get mad back then. Now it's like I just put in my head, I don't have to talk to this person anymore, and leave it as that. You know, and it's so hard to change that after 12 years of training your mind. Like, you rather not hurt nobody, you rather cut them off before they hurt you.
Exactly.
And so now you're trying to get in this world, and you're trying to trust people, you're trying to accept people for who they are.
It's hard.
And the first time you see a red flag, your first mindset is to cut off. You know, so it's like, you have to see this person on a daily basis. You know you love this person, but you also love self more. You get what I'm saying? So
What's the
it's-
bigger picture?
yes, it's hard. It's hard to like
I know.
to give that trust to somebody, and you know that person mean good for you, but
Yeah.
you train your mind so many years to like that cutoff. And when you say cut off, that means like I don't never have to talk to you again. You live your life, I'm gonna live my life. You know, so
What would you say, and we may have talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but the number one thing positive that has not happened to you, what is your number one go-to for keeping your mind on track? Is it talking to a therapist, a counselor, reading your Bible, being with the kids at
daughter.
football,
my daughter,
like keeping you
Yes.
grounded or
Yes.
mentally like in the right place?
like I don't get me wrong, I love my boys. They my boys, I love them, but that daughter is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she can feel when I get mad. Like she calms me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, go in the room. She knows she'll grab my leg like, no, daddy, and then it kind of calms me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like, I love my other kids. Don't get me wrong. It's just my blessing, and I think God gave me her for a reason because I want to do things that I'm used to get me back to that comfort. It's not being institutionalized. It's just that comfort for you. A lot of people out in the world that haven't been to jail, they got things that they can go to the comfort. Like some people want to read, some people want to go walk. You know,
Yes.
Me, I like to be alone.
Yep.
I like to be alone. And if I can't be alone, I say crazy stuff to make you be, I push you away. If you show me any type of love for as a love that I know can be taken away from me, I try to push you away.
To save yourself.
Yes.
Well, it's your guard, it's your wall up, because
Yes,
you know
absolutely.
you don't want to get hurt again mentally, because it has to be so hard to leave your relationships. I mean,
Yes.
for that length of time. So you protect yourself automatically. So getting,
Yes.
and like your daughter, instead of her pushing you away,
Yes.
she knows not to, you know what I mean? Like she knows even when maybe you're not being, you're being a little bit of a jerk or whatever, trying to push people away.
Yes,
she
she
knows
won't
the
go for it.
opposite.
She
She's
ain't
like,
going
no, I'm
for
not
it.
doing that.
She
She
ain't
go
going
for
for
it.
it.
I'm not
No.
doing it. So
You've
she
seen
turns
me
it right
post
around.
pictures with
Yes.
her.
You know,
We call
yeah.
her the Nugget.
Yes.
That's what David and I did.
The
The
nugget.
Nugget.
She ain't
She's
going
like
nowhere. She don't care. I could be mad. Like, go in the room. She's
She
like,
don't
no,
care.
daddy, no.
Aw.
She wrap her legs and that make me like, all right, babe, come on.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's your calm.
And
Yes.
she and like I told you a long
Yes.
time ago when you had her, she was a true blessing
Yes.
to you
Absolutely.
and her mom.
Yes,
Aw.
yes, yes.
And her
She have a
mother.
great mom.
Oh.
She
Yes,
does.
I'm changing
So-
for the world. It's just life.
Oh yeah.
I accept life.
Yep.
I accept life. You learn from your mistakes, but I still battle.
Well, we all do.
Oh
Like
my
we said that
gosh.
before.
Mhm.
You know what? I mean, I haven't been to prison. Again, like I say, I mean, we all are just one little hair away from making a wrong decision. Like you say, that it could put any of us there at some point in our life, So again, absolutely, we're all there and we all battle. We all have our demons that we
Yeah.
struggle with,
'Cause
and so much of it is our own self.
We all have those
Mhm.
things, and anxiety can rear its ugly head, but it's how we act,
Absolutely.
and that will help us handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like your Mike said on our Friday or on the podcast this week, as far as like even just not letting people thinking before we react, and it's so much easier said than done, but it's so true.
so
Like
true.
again, seek to understand, before you're understood or whatever, and it's so true. I mean, we're all guilty of, I know I am. I mean, we need reminders every day. That's why it's so important to stay in the Word, stay positive, keep those things, because I'm telling you, it makes a mental difference.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
And as miserable as that time was for you in the shoe.
The shoe.
I want to call it the
Same
hole.
thing. Yes.
But like in the shoe,
Uh-huh.
I mean, thank God, maybe that is a blessing that the only thing they allow is your religious preference, which for you is the Bible.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it keeps you grounded mentally. That's about the only thing, your faith, that's going to pull you through something like that, to
Yes.
me. And if you don't
Yes.
have one, you probably will get one,
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Well-
Zach, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's been just so good and so interesting and informative, and I just don't, I can't even thank you enough for sharing
you.
your story.
I know, I can't either. I agree
So many
totally.
people have talked to me personally about it.
Me.
Tracy, you with your family, you said, and your friends,
Yes.
and had no idea of what your story was.
Absolutely.
And you have just enlightened us, and really, we can't thank you enough.
And just keep being a great positive role model to those kids out there. I
Yes,
know you
that's
do a
right.
lot of volunteering, you do things with the kids, and I'm
Yes.
telling you, people need to see from a real person,
Yeah.
somebody they know and they like and they trust. Hey, this can happen to you. It's
Yeah.
not just the big bad
Absolutely.
wolf that's on television.
And those
Yes.
kids, admire you. They look
Yes, I
up to
talk
you.
to a lot of them. Yes.
And so you're going to be that person for them.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely.
right. No.
Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. And listen, half the battle is realizing and accepting. Like you said, you know when your buttons get put, or you know when you need to have your alone time, whatever.
Yes.
And that's good. A lot of people don't recognize that in
That's true.
themselves, and that's when issues happen. I'm talking about every single
Yeah,
person,
all
not
of
just
us.
you.
No, all
So
of us.
half the battle is knowing, like, okay, I got to check out for a little bit,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
and acknowledging that.
That was
Well,
great.
thank you so
Thank
much, as
you.
always. You've been
Thank
a
you.
blessing for us, so we appreciate it so much.
Yes.
And who knows, we may have you back again.
Well, we
Don't,
want to.
don't
because-
mention any new stories after we get off the air,
Yeah.
because we'll be dragging you right back over here
Don't worry,
again in a
because
week or
I have
two.
another. I've
I
already
know.
told you what I want to do. So don't be surprised if you see Zach back with us.
All right, everybody. We thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And it's another week, so like us,
Love us,
share,
care, and be kind.
and be kind. Thank you. Have a good week, everybody.
All right.
Bye.